Hello, and welcome to Policymakers, a podcast wherein I, Senator Waldron, and my good friend Sean Sheridan will put forward policies one at a time in the hope of alleviating some of today's biggest political problems. Enjoy the show.
Hello and welcome to Policymakers. I'm Sean Sheridan, this is Senan Waldron.
Hello, how do you do, people of the internet?
Excellent.
Yeah.
Senan, what the devil have you been up to this week?
Well, this week I was at our mutual friend Barry Hopkins had a 30th birthday.
Yes.
So we went out to
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show, yeah, big supporter of the show.
Yeah.
So we went out to this thing called Burlaug Bulag. It's out in Boyle, Roscommon.
Yeah, you're living the high life there.
I'm
man.
living the high life, yeah, and I fully endorse it. What it is like a big warehouse.
Yeah.
And in the warehouse there are these rooms, and each one of these rooms has like a puzzle to solve, and then at the end of the puzzle you get like a stamp, and it was really, really, really tricky. We were in it for like 2 or 3 hours, and we got one.
So
we got one stamp.
It's like the Crystal Maze.
It's kind of like the Crystal Maze, yeah, but there's no like annoying bald guy singing a harmonica along the way. It's kind of like, so like the first room was like called Rats,
Yeah.
and you go through like 5 different rooms, 5 different puzzles, and then you get the stamp. And the first one, we spent about, I would say, maybe like 2 hours, 2 or 3 hours trying to work it out. No, not less than that, like an hour or so trying to work out how to get through these rooms.
Yeah.
There's like 8-year-olds and 9-year-olds who were just flying through. They had like 20 stamps each, like, and we were just 4 grown men now. We couldn't work together enough to work out this like simple puzzle. All you had to do is, there's like a picture of a cat, and you close the picture of the cat.
Yeah.
And then you go through the puzzle. And that's it. That was the puzzle. It took us forever to work it out.
So you spent a few hours realizing that you're thick.
Pretty much, yeah. Well, certainly thicker than the girls. The girls got like sick. Like we got crushed. We got absolutely crushed in it.
Well, that's why the femspiracy's taken over.
Yeah, I know. It didn't really. It certainly. It really made me feel that my policy could be right. That we do need to destroy the femme conspiracy before it gets too much power.
There is that.
Yeah. It was good. It was good fun, but like I said, it's so confusing, so hard. It just made me feel stupid. But I enjoyed it. I had fun, you know. That's what I did this weekend.
But surely most things you do make you feel stupid.
Yeah. But this time I had to pay for it. I had to pay like 20 quid. Like I had to drive to Boyle to feel stupid.
Like we're recording this in Sheridan Manor here in Galway, and. But earlier, before we recorded, Senan made a cup of tea for the both of us, and he accidentally put his head through the window. I'm still wondering how you managed that.
Well, I just got carried away, Sean. You know what I mean? I just obviously made some bad decisions in the sugar end of things. I
don't.
I'm up in casualty. This is what happens to me. You know? These are weekends now. It's Sheridan Manor. Every time I come here, I end up getting injured.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Mm-hmm. But. Oh yeah, it's my fault.
Well, it's the compound. You know what I mean? It's an unlucky compound for me to come to. You know what I mean?
Fair enough.
But that was my weekend, Sean. It was quite. The rest of the week was fairly boring. How was your week?
My week was quite interesting.
Yeah.
While you were off in Roscommon, I was in Hollywood.
You were in Hollywood?
Yeah,
Hollywood, California.
Hollywood, California.
Okay.
And I was there pitching some ideas to top movie executives, and I read a book. A couple of weeks ago, saying that if you want to get a movie greenlit, what you need to do, you need to add 1 or 2 movies that were already successful into a blender and just come up with an idea. Yeah. So I did. I have them here.
I would love to see a pitch. Yeah, I'd love to say you did.
The first one was a hard, gritty look at ethnically disadvantaged people on Tatooine. Star Wars Episode 1: A Phantom Menace to Society.
That's pretty good. Did they back that one?
They didn't back that one.
That
Apparently they're already making Star Wars movies. I didn't know. I didn't know.
No, that's a shame.
The next one I pitched was a tale of sexual intrigue set in the Marvel universe, the talented Mr. Spider-Man.
I like that. Yeah, that's. So do I imagine it'd be a romantic, sexy romp through the?
Not really. It's a hard game of intrigue. involving Spider-Man, Doctor Octopus. You know,
Yeah.
all your favorite Marvel characters
That sounds
are
yeah.
involved somehow. Or
I mean,
another.
Marvel is selling.
Yeah.
It is selling. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Espionage and Marvel, that could work. Did
It
they
could
green
work.
like that?
We're still in talks. They want
Still
to
in talks,
they want
right.
to see a spec script. They
Right,
want to see
yeah.
they want to see a script. And the next one I wrote was an old timey musical involving full on fist fights.
Right.
7 Brides for 7 Fight Clubs.
Right. That's a good one. I'd buy that. Like that
Yeah,
sounds like it.
I reckon it's something they're not doing,
Sells itself.
and it could appeal to both men and women because there's
Yeah.
some lovely songs and there's some horrific violence.
I'll back that. Did that get a green light?
Where once again I have to write a treatment. I'm
Right.
gonna,
Well, I think it writes
yeah.
itself. Really.
The next one I was a bit ashamed to pitch. Really,
Hmm.
it's a bit of self-insert fan fiction that I
Hmm.
wrote. Really, basically, I play an astronaut, and we have Emma Stone, Emma Roberts, and Emma Watson playing themselves, trying to cop in a competition to be the first to cop off with me after I land back on Earth.
Right.
It's called The Hunt for the Red Spaceballs.
It's the.
They weren't too keen on that.
No, they were not, no.
Apparently the 3 Emmas, they've all got different agents. It's just a bastard to put together.
It's just legal red tape.
Yeah,
isn't it?
it's red
just,
tape. Yeah.
Apart from that, it's nearly a goal.
it'd
Right?
get caught up. It'd be in production hell for
Yeah,
ages.
yeah.
That's how they said they weren't interested to me. Anyways,
That's a shame. That seems like a
yeah.
wonderful idea.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The next one I pitched was a time travel espionage thriller where CIA agent Jack Ryan goes back in time to the early 60s to stop a great evil being perpetuated. It's called a Clear and Present Nixon.
Oh, they must have backed that. They must have gone into
They
that.
were interested in that.
They must have been interested in that.
The Tom Clancy, the Jack Ryan franchise. It's open for another movie.
It is. I mean, like that sells itself.
It
right?
sells itself. They're talking to Shia LaBeouf.
Oh well, that's perfect casting there. Yeah, he'd make a great Nixon.
Exactly. Yeah. The next one was a documentary, an expose of how urban planning traffic systems are cutting into the profits of snakeheads. It's called Human Traffic Changing Lanes.
That's good.
Yeah.
That might be a bit of a hard sell, I think. You
Yes.
know, did they go for it?
They're not too keen on that. They're not too keen on that.
That's your favorite one, right?
That's one of my favorite.
That's the
ones.
one you really put a lot of effort
That is one
into.
of my favorite
Yeah,
ones.
that's a good one. Yeah, you should write. You should definitely. Maybe you should go independent on it. You know,
I think I might. I might go to Miramax with that one.
Miramax. Yeah,
Yeah.
they make pussy movies about the crying game and bitches in trouble. Like
Absolutely. And the last one was a feminist reimagining of a classic sci-fi tale based around domestic abuse and misogyny, entitled "The Empire Strikes Little Women." Well, I think we're capturing the zeitgeist of the time.
I think so.
But
Yeah.
Again, they're making a Star Wars movie.
You don't want to flood the market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was I was disappointed with that one because I put my heart and soul into it.
I mean, like
I went around battered women's shelters with a lightsaber, going, "Hey, have a go at this."
Yeah, it's a bit too strong, a bit too much of a powerful piece. I don't think the market is quite ready for.
I'm ahead of my time with that.
Ahead of your time,
I'm
ahead of the curve.
In about 20 years' time, I think the world will be ready.
If you can get the Shia LaBeouf Nixon project up, that could be the next one.
That's the plan.
Yeah,
that's the one we're going for right now.
Do you think I should start a hashtag Shia LaBeouf hashtag Not My Nixon?
I think you should.
I think I should. Yeah.
I think you absolutely should.
Yeah, I could do that. Yeah, we got a good few followers from that.
Absolutely. So
well, that sounds like a wonderful meeting.
Yeah,
like
and
great pitches there.
Afterwards, we all went out for ice cream. It was lovely.
Lovely, gorgeous. Yeah, what a great day.
So that's what I've been doing.
So that was Tuesday.
That was Tuesday.
That was a lovely day. Yeah, that sounds nice.
And but I'm back in Sheridan Manor to
back in the compound
to figure out some policies to sort out some problems. Let's do
our
this.
problems. Well, this week I'll start this week. Will I?
Absolutely.
I'll start this week. This week we're given the problem of trying to redevelop the Irish language. To bring it back.
Yeah.
They're around for a while. They to bring it back, lads. Make it cool again.
You know, we wanted to survive on something other than government grants and a feeling of superiority.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that's-
We want common people to speak
Yeah.
it. We want me and you and the other guy to speak it.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. We wanted for other things than slipping a sly look at your mate while you're trying to cop off with an American bird.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly,
I mean,
yeah.
because that's the only use I found for it in my adult life.
Yeah, because kind of you want something that you could use it for more than just trying to get a free pint in like the pub there in Mile End,
Yeah,
or something like that.
exactly.
Like, you know what I mean?
So, Senan, what have you got for
Well,
us?
I thought I'd start by just giving you a little bit of history about the Irish language because we have a potential audience of over 3 billion people.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to get some context.
Some context, exactly. Yeah. So with that, we all know that the first word spoken in Irish was Hurfbon the Bruton, spoken by the first Irishman, Paddy McHugh, in the cold winter of 2684 BC. As we all know, Paddy McHugh was the first ever Irishman for two main reasons. First off, he was born in Ireland, and number two, he left.
So, hang on. There were no people in Ireland before Paddy McHugh.
There was no Irish people before Paddy McHugh.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. So they were like French or something.
Yeah, there was lots of different tribes and stuff like that, but he was definitely the first Irish person.
Oh, okay.
Like I said, the Horthron, the Boothron, his first words are, of course, now national motto of Ireland. Translated, of course, into "Cheers, lads, some weather, huh?"
Yeah.
And then nothing happened for a while, but then in 484 AD, St. Patrick was the first person to write down the Irish language, to write down Irish words.
So hang on, you're just skipping about like 2.5 millennia in the timeline.
Yeah, it's about 2.5, 3 millennia, but
So-
not much happened.
So nothing happened in that time.
Not really, no. There was a few sheep and a couple of seagulls, but nothing really busy, like.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So in 484 AD, St. Patrick was the first person to write down the Irish words, which of course survive today. He changed the word "Jees" to "Jesus,"
Yeah.
given his Christian roots. And Patrick was also the first person to write down a collection of Irish words, a complete collection of Irish words that lasted for almost 1,000 years. A complete collection of over 57 Irish words.
57.
Yeah,
Oh
imagine.
my lord.
Yeah, and all that back in the 4th century. Something
Yeah.
different, huh? And then in 1702, the English outlawed the Irish language for a laugh.
Just for the crack.
For the crack, yeah. Well, William of Orange...
Well, you weren't allowed to say crack. but
No, of
that's-
course, yeah. But William III of Orange wanted to see if the Irish would use the special joke language he invented called Dutch. The Irish refused, as you all know.
Yeah.
The Irish refused and sat in silence for over 4 years. 2.4 million Irish people were killed.
Well, they couldn't tell people that,
They couldn't say, well, I'm hungry,
they were coming.
I'm a bit sick,
Yeah.
or watch out for the car, or whatever
Yeah.
like that. So they just all... It was a disaster. We never really recovered.
Well, we did have cars back then.
Yeah.
We were ahead of the curve then, but
Well, yeah,
then the Brits came and it all went wrong.
Then it all went wrong. It was that William the Conqueror.
Exactly.
Up for everyone.
Exactly.
And then nothing really happened until 1916, when the Irish language, which had been missing for over 200 years, was found by Jamie Connolly in a bush on St. Stephen's Green.
I remember that.
You remember that
I
from history?
That
Yeah.
day, yeah.
Yep. He lifted it aloft and said, "Fuck me, lads! It's only here behind this shrub. Score!" When he was promptly shot in the leg 7 times.
That's on his tombstone, I believe.
It's on his tombstone, yeah. And as we all know, as anyone in Ireland knows, at that time it was caught in an updraft just
Yeah.
outside of Dunstores, and it landed somewhere in Galway County, where it's been kept to this day.
Yeah.
So there's a little context there, a little history of the Irish language.
Yeah.
It's just a surmising. I mean, everyone in Ireland already knows these history facts.
Yeah, I know.
Obviously,
It's a interesting postscript to that
Mm-hmm.
fact. It's my mate Cormac Lowry who mines it.
oh, is it? Yeah,
Yeah, he
I
keeps
understand
it in
yeah.
a box.
Yeah, they could have. It's not kept by one person at a time. It's like 3 years changing periods.
Yeah,
yeah.
But right now he has
He has it to see what the
Yeah.
hell. Right, very
And
good.
he's been working hard translating true Norwegian death metal into Irish.
Into Irish. Well, everyone has to do their bit to look after
Exactly,
their language. You know what I mean?
exactly.
They don't get the grants for nothing, ladies and gentlemen. They
No,
get the
they
grants
really
because
don't.
they can look after the language.
Yeah,
And it's a good language.
That
And
is
it's
true.
57 words. There's a lot you can get out of them.
that it is a very very
Very rich.
rich
Rich
and
language.
It's got a rich lexicon as
Yeah,
well.
exactly. It's famed throughout the world for its poetry.
Exactly.
And with that in mind, we have to bring it back
So what?
So
what
my
do you have in
policy,
mind?
my method is the carrot and the stick method.
Okay.
Carrot and the stick method, I should say.
How do you say that in Irish?
On coron, on stick.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Stickog.
Sticko.
Stickog, yeah.
The young stick.
The on stick, exactly, yeah. Well, it's a poetic language,
It truly is.
Yeah. So it will start by people. A person will be given 1 point for every new Irish word to use talking to a new person.
Okay.
And for every one of these points that they get, they'll call them? They'll amass over time
Yeah.
as you speak them. And depending on how many points you have, will count for a dismissal to the next crime that you commit.
Okay.
So, for example, if you have, say, over 2,000 points,
Yeah.
you could pretty much park anywhere you want. Because
Really?
the 2,000 points would be more than any parking fine.
Fair enough.
So you could park anywhere you want, Mr. Parky, so
So-
long as you speak the Irish language enough.
So just like landed in the middle of Ayr Square, and it's like, yeah,
Well, and I'll check it and I'll say, well, he's speaking his words.
yeah,
So, of course that would be unfair because people who could amass them, especially school teachers,
yeah,
for
that's
example.
true.
So the points will be reset at random times and days during the week, and they'll be reset to 0.
Okay,
So you can only use them, if you have 2,000 points, you're like, well,
Yeah.
I better do this now before they get reset.
yeah,
So that would be the catch for it. They'll be able to track your words, your Irish usage by an app that you can put on your phone.
okay.
That will listen to everything you say and everyone you meet and keep a track and a record of that in the central office.
like the Kupla Fuckle counter.
Yeah, exactly. A Kupla Fucker counter. Exactly. Yeah, yeah. And like I said, it will keep a track of you and everyone you meet and everywhere you go and everyone you talk to and keep them all on a centralised database in Dublin.
Okay, can I?
Oh, you can interject at any time, Mr. Sheridan.
So, what about more serious crimes? Like, say,
Mm-hmm.
how many points would you have to amass to get away with, say, robbing a post office? And also, is there any way you can get a multiplier going on?
No, well,
Like in the old GTA games?
possibly a multiplier, but we'll develop that later. We'll develop that with the tech company who will, build the app for us.
Absolutely.
But we have some basic statistics here. Let me just see.
It's a lot of research.
A lot of research here. Let me see. Post office robbery. Is that with a weapon?
I would assume so.
Like a
yeah.
firearm?
I would assume so.
Firearm. Cross-reference this. Firearm. Post office robbery. 46,000 points.
46,000.
46,000
Okay.
points.
Okay.
So that's a lot, but it is doable.
So, however, if I was to just like get an English to Irish dictionary and go up to random people and just start listing off words. Hang on, wait a second. They're going to fucking record everything we say.
Yeah, everything. Yeah, everything you say, everyone you meet, everywhere you go, kind of thing. Yeah, that would be all kept in a centralised office.
In Athlone, I'd imagine.
Probably Athlone or Dublin.
Okay. You see how that might be a problem?
No, I mean, we need to track people. We need to record them. We need to know what they're doing and what they're saying, right?
Not really. I mean, for the purposes of this policy, yes, you would.
Yeah.
However, a lot of people
Far-reaching policy.
A lot of people might see that as being an infringement on their. on their right to
Oh, I
privacy.
see. Because people would want to opt out, and people would be like, "Oh, well, I don't want my stuff recorded."
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there is no opt out. If you have a mobile phone, you have to have this app.
But is there any way you could just opt out of the Irish language entirely? Like,
Yeah,
you
could-
wear like an English rugby jersey for a week, and then
No, you can opt out by.
signify-
It's pretty simple opting out. You simply just fill out a few forms and put it into a process, and you put it through, and you denounce the Irish faith and the Irish constitution, and you move to a different country and take up asylum somewhere else. I mean, it's a pretty simple process. It's a pretty simple process. I mean, people have been doing it for years.
Yeah, that's true. It's a streamlined process, is what you're saying.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you just go up there and you hand your passport into your local council office, and they burn the passport, and you pretty much just put on a boat.
So,
I assume they live in the border counties, and you're just kicked across the line.
oh, okay. So you either have a choice of being recorded 24/7 by a government,
Tracked, yeah.
tracked and recorded by a government body every moment of every day, or you can leave the country and become a refugee.
Well, let me see. It's banished.
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 That's the official language. Yes, it's official wording.
So sort of like in Mad Max 3, where they just they put him backwards on a horse and
yeah, exactly. So if you live in the border counties, you'd be given a donkey, and blindfolded and just sent across to Derry County, or onto a boat if you're not lucky enough to live on the counties.
Speaking as a man who once went through Monaghan on the back of a donkey, that's actually pretty cruel and unusual.
It is, but I mean, we're trying to promote the Irish language.
I understand
bring
we're
the
trying
language
to
back,
promote the Irish language,
Yeah.
but at what cost?
Well, that's not really, my department. We've worked on how to bring the language back.
Okay.
Like I said, we've got a lot of history in the language
Yeah.
from Paddy McHugh up to.
Yeah, I'm not
Comic
talking about budget issues here. I'm talking about the ethical cost of what you're putting forward.
Ethics. Yeah. Once again, that's not really my department. I mean, with this, you could really get the Irish language back. I mean, people will be speaking it every day. Because you know as well as I do, people commit crimes all the time. You know what I mean? It's very unfortunate, but sometimes you don't pay a bill, or you don't, I don't know, maybe you get caught accidentally lifting a Snickers, or you don't pay for petrol. Mistakes happen.
That's true.
And it's nice to have a backing where you can, at least cut away part of that fine or problem.
See, I think there's many problems with this. One of the main ones being that, saying new Irish words to new people, it would essentially put Irish teachers above the law. And frankly, no primary or secondary school educator should be above the law.
Yeah, certainly not with the teachers I had, that's for sure.
Yeah. Absolutely not.
Yeah, but once again, if it brings the Irish language back, Sean, that's what it's all about.
That's true. I mean, don't get me wrong. I admire your flair.
Thank you. Yeah.
I am very inspired by your commitment to bringing back the Irish language. However, I don't think I don't
think we can. My policy isn't quite finished yet, but I don't think we can bring back the Irish language unless we have full commitment from the people in the state.
What else have you got for me?
Well, like I said, that's pretty much the first half of it. That's the carrot.
Okay,
that's the reward. The caron.
So the threat of banishment is the carrot.
Yeah, but it also means you can commit crimes willy-nilly if you speak enough of the language. That's the carrot. That's the reward.
Okay.
That's what you get if you speak the language, if you're willing to work with us.
Okay.
However, if you don't speak any Irish words, if you have a 0% record over a week, you will get, what's metaphorically called the stick, or the stick-og.
The stick-og.
Yeah. And the stick-og is basically being hit with a rubber life stick.
And who would be administering this beating?
Well, at the moment we're thinking mostly it will be unemployed school leavers would be the main employment care for this.
And would this be a job bridge program or?
Yeah, it'd be part of the job bridge. It'd be underneath a lot of different schemes. Trying to get people back to work and get them sort of back into the cycle of working and get to help out Ireland.
I can get behind that, and I once again I admire your commitment to killing two birds with one stone here. But it's not so much killing birds I'd be worried about. It's more killing people. Because if you were to give someone who's been a long-term unemployed person who has a bit of bitterness and resentment to society stored up, and you give them a stick and just allow them to beat people. See, here's the thing.
Yeah. They can only beat people that have 0 Irish words at the end of the week, at the end of the random cycle.
Well,
and
like foreigners?
No, only people from Ireland.
Oh, okay.
Obviously, all foreigners would be banned from Ireland. I mean, it goes without saying, We'd have to close the borders, obviously, because otherwise people who would banish it, they'd come back.
Well, okay.
So we have to close the borders up. But these people, these school leavers, these stickers won't be just going up to people and hitting it around them. There'll be rules. They'll have to hide. And they'll only have to hit the person once. So they'll hide in, wheelie bins or behind walls, in front of cars, stuff like that.
Okay.
And they'll come out and they'll hit you with the stick and they'll say, ha-ha! And then they'll run off again.
Okay.
And that's your punish. That's the stick. The stick-og for not speaking the language.
Okay. So I can see where you're going with this. But there's a lot of fallout from this. I think
the floor is now open for questions.
Yeah,
that is most. If there's any more in-depth questions, I can look it up on my policy here. But that's pretty much the bullet points of it.
I understand that it would help the Irish language, but it also might create a dystopian future that the kind of which George Orwell warned us about.
A dystopian Irish-speaking future.
You got a point there.
Yeah,
you do have a point. I'm not going to lie. You do have a point.
I mean, we've seen that the Irish language, we've been through some trials and tribulations in the past. You know, it's the language is well able for it.
So we'd have like the Ministry of Graw and
exactly. The Oscuelga officers, stuff like that.
Okay.
Office Oaks.
Okay. Once again, I'd kind of like to see it. It'd make an interesting reality TV show, but I don't think it would be a workable policy in the long term.
I don't know. Personally, I think here at the Blue Party, we agree that this is a very workable system. I mean, we already have hundreds of thousands of smartphones in Ireland. True. I mean, most people have a smartphone. If not, they can easily get one. They're obtainable, very easily found.
Yeah,
and as you said, the language is already being minded out in Connemara.
That's true.
So there's no harm in getting it spread out and, get into people's hearts. Get into the minds. If people are consciously trying to avoid being hit by a stick and get away with crimes, you know what I mean? I mean, they're obviously going to start speaking that language.
It'd be like my childhood all over again.
Exactly. But with smartphones.
Yeah. I can see it. But I don't think it's right.
What is it? This ethical problem is it?
Well,
whatever this ethics is, I don't know, but yeah.
The closed border, the monitoring and tracking of people wherever they go.
I don't really see the problem so far.
The militias of people who just randomly beat people in the streets.
Well, they only hit them once, but yeah. Okay.
This is sounding a bit North Korean, if you understand my meaning.
Well, that's true, but I mean, as far as I'm aware, in North Korea, everyone speaks Korean.
That's true. So
it is a national language.
But what you're going for here is sort of like North Korea in Aaron Ganzi's.
Yeah, well, that's about it. Yeah. With smartphones, it's very important that I get through the smartphones. Okay, we have a very lucrative contract with Vodafone. Sorry, Vodafone.
Senan?
Yeah.
You've been told before about conflicts of interest. You've been told.
I don't.
This is the third or fourth time you've done this.
I don't see the conflict of interest. I mean,
you've invested in Vodafone, haven't you?
Well, I don't see. I don't see how.
How many berries did you invest in?
I put my whole stock of blackberries, blueberries, and elderberries into it.
I'm sorry, it has to be disqualified.
No, I don't know. I mean, I don't see the conflict of interest. Just because I invested what would equate to millions and millions and millions of bitcoins into Vodafone and try to break through the police state based on mobile phone and smart technology, I don't see the conflict of interest in that. No, I don't. I mean, perhaps maybe in the high courts, but I don't see it.
I'm sorry, Senan. It's got to be disqualified. I cannot support your policy.
Conflict of interest, huh?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I don't understand this ethics you keep talking about. I don't know.
Well, that's because there's no Irish word for ethics.
There's not one of the 57, that's for sure.
No, it definitely isn't. Look, it was a good
policy, right? It will definitely bring the language back.
Don't feel bad. Look, it's not your fault.
It's not my fault.
No.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
No,
it's fine.
It's not your fault.
Don't say that. It's not that. That's
no.
Just never loved my father. Still, it's good history.
Yeah, that's
at least I can educate people in the history of Ireland, the Irish language, you know. Wow, yeah. Hollywood's changed you, man.
It truly has.
It really has, man.
I'm sorry, I can't support your policy.
Oh, well.
Okay.
That's fine.
Hi, I'm Senan Waldron, and you may recognise my voice from this podcast that you're listening to. Just a quick advert to let you know that on Tuesday nights from 11 o'clock to 12 o'clock, I'm on my own radio show called The Rock Face on CRC FM. So that's Tuesday nights from 11 o'clock to 12 o'clock. Check it out, crcfm.ie. Now, back to the policies.
All right, Sean, if you think you've got something better, if you think your policy is
I think I have.
hot oak, why don't you tell me all about it?
My policy is going to be called Operation Rule Ya Boolia.
Oh, really? I like it already.
Okay.
I like it.
I was thinking the whole time how I was going, how to bring back the Irish language. And as you know, here at Policymakers, we believe that the children are our future.
Absolutely.
It's
written on the door.
It's they're our greatest natural resource beside the gas field we have off Ballina. And we feel that we need to appeal to the kids. We need to make the Irish language cool again.
Okay, yeah.
We need to take it away. We need to erase the image of the Aaron Ganzi, the cloth cap, the 3 teeth in the head, bale and twine belt. The casual sodomy, that kind of thing. We need to get away from that.
It is like, if you can, generally, if you could just stay away from sodomy, you're usually doing pretty okay. That's usually the first step, right?
That's one of my maxims for life. To be perfectly honest, ourselves at the Red Team, we did have a few false starts with this. We tried first thinking that we need some spokespeople, to make Irish seem cool,
to get out there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the original plan we had was to kidnap Amy Poehler and Tina Fey.
Right.
Yeah,
they're pretty hip right now.
Yeah, they're on top of the world
right now.
They're on top of the world right now. And what we were going to do was we were going to leave Amy up in the wilderness of Donegal, and we're going to leave Tina and we're just going to leave Tina somewhere in Connemara.
Okay.
And we're going to give them a hatchet each, and just leave them there for about 2 or 3 years. Not let anyone contact
out
them.
in the wilderness.
Yeah, just not let anyone contact them.
Okay.
Basically, have you ever seen that movie Nell? Where Jodie Foster plays a chick who, she was just away in the forest and she has her own language and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So
kind of like that, but with
what we need to do, we're just going to leave them out there for about 2 years until they forget what the English language is.
Right.
That they've been so far away from speaking to other people for so long that they just lose the language.
Completely excommunicated.
Yeah. And then, we take them and we educate them in the Irish language. And then they'll be able to take that sophisticated American wit through the Shanukkel and make Irish cool again.
Right.
However, we did a dry run at this. We took Twink and put her out in the Tormakeedy woods.
Yeah.
For about 6 months.
That's a good pilot.
And and then came back, taught her Irish and all that. However, the problem was a lot of the quick wit seemed to go, and a lot of the stories and jokes she told were about smashing badgers' heads in and eating them raw.
It is a brutal existence.
It was pretty grim.
Yeah,
it was pretty grim. It wasn't particularly funny. It didn't test well.
I imagine it didn't test well.
It was one of the more interesting episodes of the Late Late Show that they've done in a long time.
It was strange. That was for sure. Yeah,
it got people talking in the Twitter sphere.
It did. It got people talking. It made it cooler again.
Hashtag Why Is This Happening was trending worldwide.
Oh, that's what that was about.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
You thought that was about nuclear proliferation, didn't you?
Yeah, it was about nuclear proliferation and the banning of Cadbury's chocolate in America.
Yeah, it was about Twink.
Oh, okay. Oh, the whole thing with her in the woods and that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So how do you plan to get Amy Poehler and Tina Fey involved?
See, that's the thing. We had to abandon that plan because we give Tina and Amy a bit more credit than Twink. But at the same time, we figured not only would it be kind of weird and disturbing, it's also Tina and Amy. They seem to appeal to an older crowd, like say 25 to 40, that sort of demographic, and that's not the future.
Right,
the children are our future.
Children are our future. It says it on the door.
We have what I'm suggesting. In Operation Rule Ya Boolia, is that we
name.
find two people who have some cred with the kids these days, and we got some recording artists in mind.
Oh, really?
And we're going to get them to re-record all of their famous songs in the Irish language.
Well, that's very good. That would be very cool.
Yeah. It's basically it's going to be Dr. O'Dre agus Snoop Madra Madra.
That I can get down to that.
Yeah. I've even taken the liberty.
Oh, really?
Of I've even taken the liberty of translating some of their more famous raps.
Or
Because
the
I'm down.
hip-hops.
I'm down with the kids.
Yes, you are down with the kids, yeah.
And I have it here. Dr. O'Dre is anam dom, Tom a hun tosa ar a cléthe. Fós e cahiamh tabak ar an dilog. Fós e gimort e búl. Polini fós ni gráhar. Fós cahiamh macacís le cofa agus an crís. Fós fuair grá le de srádanna ar linrú dá cage trocha. Fós an bangs búla. Fós as déanamh morod. O dhéag ní bhfuil an láthathú.
It's not quite got the rhythm.
Well,
you know.
I'm not a lyrical wordsmith like
are
Dre.
you-
He can make this work.
He can make it work. He's got the rhythm. He's got the skills to it. But
he'll fit it to a beat somehow.
did you use Google Translate to get these?
Yes.
Why?
How do you mean?
I mean, do you have a friend who translated them for you? Or just straight from Google Translate?
You want me to talk to a Gaeilgeoir about the Irish language? They're horrible people when you talk about the Irish language.
That's true. Yeah.
I would gnaw off my own testicles rather than talk to a Gaeilgeoir about the Irish language. They're horrible. They're appalling.
They're terrible people.
Yeah. Jesus, man. What do you take me?
So you just what is your plan to get them?
Well,
Dr. Dre into this, like.
Well, Dre has been the hard one to get involved in this, as well as the financial. We're going to need to go into a cross branding thing with him.
Okay.
So we offered that some prominent Irish figures wear Beats by Dre everywhere they go. And
Michael D and like
Michael D, Eamon Gilmore, Enda Kenny, Joan Burton, people like that. So
important people.
Yeah. So whenever they're on camera, whenever they've gotten their picture taken, Beats by Dre, just hanging around the neck,
Yeah.
He told us to go fuck ourselves when we did that.
I imagine, I couldn't really. As beautiful as Colomara is, it's a long way from the South Central ghetto. That's for sure.
Yeah,
it's not quite Harlem,
I understand what you're saying, but I feel that if we bring them out, take them to the Burn, places like that, it'll give them an idea.
It'll inspire them.
Yeah. Because Dr. Dre loves rocks.
He's mad for rocks.
Yeah, he's
a
all
huge
about
geologist. That's where he got his
Absolutely.
doctorate from, his geology, as I understand. Yeah.
And he did release 2 albums called The Chronic, so we have some similar nomenclature. It's like, Jesus Dre, it is a chronic day.
It is, yeah. It was all about the weather and the terrible state of the match, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, I quite like that policy. It's very good, yeah.
He put out a new album, Pure Chronic.
Yeah. If you can
Snoop Madra, we just gave him a massive bag of weed. And
he's
he's on board.
Okay, yeah, you know what? If you can get the contract for Dre, Snoop Dogg, combined in
Dre is still a sticking point. I will say that it's not 100% in stone right now, but I think we can make it work.
I think we can make it. I like that policy a lot.
Yeah,
I like the title. I like its attitude. It's going to get with the kids. I tell you what, the Blue Party is going to support that policy. I tell you.
Thank you very much.
Very good, sir. Very well
much.
done.
Well, I think we've come to some great plans.
I think we've learned a lot about the Irish language
and
about
our
its past, about its future.
Complete and utter indifference towards it.
Yeah, we're pretty. It was a good thing they picked us to solve this problem.
It truly is.
Yeah, I mean, with our literally minutes of Irish learning,
absolutely,
our ability to say up to and including 4 or 5 words in Irish. I mean, they've really picked the right horse.
Exactly.
And I think I think your policy might be the one to say the Irish language.
Thank you very much, sir.
That's all right.
Well, that's all we have time for here this week on Policymakers.
Yeah, I hope you stick around and listen to us next week.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Until next time, go all in.
You have been listening to Policymakers, a podcast written and produced by me, Senan Waldron, and Sean Sheridan. It was a Robot House production. What are your mission statement?
Mission statement.
Do it arse backwards.